All right, so today what we're doing is we are looking out for your wallet. I get asked all the time, is what protein powder should I buy? Maybe even what foods I should buy. But what we're going to look at today are the amount of grams of protein you can get per $1 spent. We're going to take a look at some common protein powders. We're going to look at some common foods and then also some snacks that you might uh, grab if you're on the go at a gas station. So, our primary thing that we're looking at today are grams of protein per $1 spent. We'll do a little bit of a tangent and can also look at the fat content and but that's mostly what we're looking at today. Grams of protein per $1 spent. All right, let's get started, everybody. So here we have a chart, gram or protein grams per dollar spent. That's the main thing that we're looking at here. If we look at this chart, I have three main categories, which are protein powders, some grocery items, and then some general, just miscellaneous items if you're on the go. So looking at like a gas station or something like that. Okay, protein powders. I got the cost. These are based on Amazon. So I went to Amazon.com and just looked in whatever they're selling for and basically looked at their largest tub that they're selling to give us the best pricing. So Gold Standard, Dynamitize, Ghost, Premier Protein, uh, Jocko, and then the bulk is bulksupplements.com, whey concentrate, and bulksupplements.com, whey isolate. So here are their pricing, or here's their prices that are listed on Amazon. In order to get these numbers, what I did is I calculated the grams per serving. I multiplied that by the total amount of servings that are listed in the container. So that gave me the total amount of protein in the entire container, divided that by the cost, and that gave us the grams of protein per $1 spent. As a little bit of a side note, I did look at the amount of fat that was involved in every serving. So looking at a gold standard protein, for example, it's like 2 or 3 grams of fat compared to 24 grams of protein. So that number is, again, it's virtually negligible. It is almost zero. When it comes to the protein powders, you can see here pretty much anything above 20 grams of protein per $1 spent is a good deal. That's a good price. So Gold Standard, Dynamitize, Ghost protein powder. It's, I mean, any protein powder is better than no protein powder if you look at this entire chart. But Ghost is rather expensive. So look, I'm not knocking Ghost. If you like their flavors, they have some really interesting flavors. If that's your thing, go ahead and buy it. Just know that it's a little more expensive. Premier protein powder coming in at 22.2 grams per dollar. Jocko protein powder, I thought that was going to be on the more expensive side, but really, not bad. 18.7 grams per dollar. Bulk supplements, I was actually surprised to see this. I expected bulk supplements to be one of the cheapest, but it looks to be about moderate. I mean, you have the whey concentrate and whey isolate. So when looking at these protein powders, guys, one thing that I wanted to point out here is that this does not include the type of protein powder. So there's whey concentrate, isolate, and hydrolyzed whey. Whey concentrate is the cheapest. Whey isolate is a little more expensive as it's a little more pure, and then hydrolyzed whey is even more expensive. All of these protein powders listed above are most of them are blends. So that they blend to three, and then that's why they call it a quote unquote premier blend. Really doesn't matter unless you have GI problems, and let's say a certain protein powder gives you a lot of gas. If that's the case, then you should lean towards a whey isolate or a hydrolyzed whey. But if your stomach can take a concentrate, a whey concentrate, go ahead and go with that. But anyone who has a lactose problem should look at the whey isolate or hydrolyzed whey specifically. So I didn't really include that in here. I just looked at the overall grams of protein per dollar. So, but all these protein powders are pretty darn good. I mean, the fat is virtually zero, and the grams of protein, even in the most expensive ones, are looking at 13 grams per dollar. So all this is very good compared to what you get at the grocery store looking at your foods. So for foods, I did a little bit differently. I looked at the cost per pound of that meat, the amount of protein per ounce, and then for total yield, the reason why it's 12 and not 16, even though 1 pound is 16 ounces, when you cook down the food, it only yields about 25 or 30%. So if you've got 16 ounces of chicken thigh or 16 ounces of chicken breast, you're only going to yield about 12 ounces of cooked food. you're able to multiply the yield by the grams per ounce to get a total amount of protein when you buy a pound, and then again divide that by the cost per dollar. So looking here at chicken thighs and chicken breasts are just powerhouses when it comes to when it comes to getting your protein in without a ton of fat. Especially chicken breast. I mean, there really is no substitute for chicken thighs and chicken breast. If you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to eat healthy. In my case right now, doing some fasting and I'm only eating one meal a day. Wanting that one meal to get quality protein sources, I am absolutely looking at prioritizing chicken. If you look here, this is surprising that ground beef 80/20 and 90/10. I mean, if you can afford it, you really should avoid buying 80/20 ground beef, and you really should be buying 90/10 ground beef instead. If you pay attention to the fat protein ratios. So essentially 90/10 ground beef has, half the fat and a little higher protein content. Although the grams per protein or grams of protein per dollar is about the same, actually might be slightly better ground beef 80/20. The fact that it's got, significantly more grams of fat per gram of protein is reason enough why you should limit the ground beef that's 80/20 and you should lean towards 90/10. Ribeyes and shrimp are also on here. I mean, what's notable here is the virtually zero fat in shrimp. So although shrimp is coming in at just as almost just as expensive as ribeye, it's got hardly any fat in it. So look, if you're going to be doing a meatless day, right now during Lent, I am not eating meat on Wednesdays and Fridays. I'm going to be prioritizing shrimp, and then also down here, if you look, some tuna fish. Tuna fish is a pretty darn good source of protein. So this miscellaneous category is something that you might do if you're on the go. So let's just say you're going to have a quick snack of a can of tuna, or you're at a gas station getting a protein bar, or the I use the Core Power 42 protein shake. There is a Core Power 26, and that's going to be a significantly worse buy. But like I said, I always go with the 42. If you're going to buy one of those protein shakes, just go ahead and buy the 42. These are estimated costs again. Looking at a can of tuna fish is about $2 here. These costs for the grocery items and the miscellaneous items are based on what I see around Central Indiana. If you're watching this video somewhere else, you might have significantly different pricing. But yeah, looking at a can of tuna fish, $2 for a can of tuna fish, you're going to get about 16 grams per protein or 16 grams of protein. That's going to mean roughly 8 grams per $1 spent. So combine that with hardly any fat at all in a can of tuna fish. Not a bad purchase. So what I'll do is I will put this protein um, grams per dollar spent chart. I'll put it in the link below. I hope you hope you find this interesting. But the big takeaways from this are protein powders are almost a non-negotiable if you're trying to eat healthy, trying to lose weight. If you are going to buy, when it comes to your grocery list and grocery items, you need to be prioritizing chicken breasts and chicken thighs. You should probably limit your 80/20 ground beef and switch to 90/10 if you can afford to do so. And when you look at miscellaneous items, tuna fish, protein bars, and protein shakes are a great option. So I hope that you found this useful and have a good day.